So good afternoon. We are back again. It is match day and we have got Unai Emery back again. Is it going to be a good evening? We're going to come to that. I do have a guest waiting backstage as well. And we're going to talk through a few things, actually, not just the game tonight, but the takeover that could potentially happen. Before I get into that, I want to address an incident that happened on the channel last night. All of you guys, and there was, I think, over about 400 people watching live last night when I did the video call-in show. And all the guys that watch it would have seen the young lad. He's 15, Dyer. He's from Canada. And he made a comment that I didn't pick up on at the time. I then clipped it, the clip of what he was saying on his little call-in. I put that out on social media. And when I see some of the responses back, I then listened to it back again and then realized what he'd said. Now, listen, I've taken the clip down. I've taken the video down. I personally would like to apologize. And he has apologized for his comment last night as well, which he wanted me to put out on this video today as well. And I don't condone what he said. I've also spoken to Expressions as well. I woke him up, funny enough, but I've spoken to him as well. And like I said, I can only apologize for what happened last night. And hopefully we don't get in another one of these positions again, because when you're getting people come on from all different walks of life, all different ages, all parts of the world, and it's a live stream, sometimes stuff like this does happen. And listen, I'm not trying to make any excuses, of course not, but I don't condone what he said last night. And yeah, we move from there. But listen, big up to everybody who's watching live. I do have a guest waiting backstage and we're going to talk about the football. And welcome to the channel, Nim. How are you, darling?
How are you doing, buddy? I'm good. Yeah.
No, I'm glad to hear it. And so a lot of people might not know who you are.
Yeah.
So and that's not being like,
absolutely not.
Obviously, give them an idea of what you do, what your channel's about. I watch your videos, I see your videos. So tell people that don't necessarily have or not necessarily have seen you before. Tell them what you do and how you do it.
Yeah, so I came onto the scene doing fantasy football content, so covering all things fantasy football, basically. So I don't know if any of you guys play it, but there's about 7 billion people who play it around the world. And yeah, I just come on, talk about my weekly team, how I'm getting on, what the best players are to buy, and things like that, really. So only just trying to get into the football stuff now.
Yeah, the football stuff's totally different, really, isn't it? It's like,
yes,
fantasy football. I set up a fantasy football team, and I can't lie, I am useless at it. I don't even bother.
Loads of people say that to me. They're just like, I start it, do a couple of weeks, do crap at it, and then I'm like, forget about it, not going to bother anymore.
That's what I do. I literally just pick a team and I'll just leave it. I don't know how it all works, if I'm honest, but it is something that is massive. I put my link up on the channel. The amount of people that joined it and actively take part in it every week is mad. So yeah, you do know your stuff with fantasy football. I can't.
Yeah, I think it's good because it gives you a good insight to lots of different teams. It's not just kind of focused on your own team all of the time. Well, especially because Arsenal assets at the moment are just not really worth buying. So yeah, it gives you a good chance to look at lots of other different teams, which is good.
No, that's class. Let me ask you, obviously you are an Arsenal fan. You've got one of the nicest shirts on out of all. Yeah, it's hard work being a Gooner. You've got one of the nicest Arsenal shirts Arsenal have ever produced on as well. That was actually back when we were a decent team.
When we were a decent team, yeah.
Yeah, it's mad. But obviously there's been a lot of talk about takeovers, and the guy from Spotify is very interested. I don't know if you see the clip that was circulating of him on CNBC yesterday.
Yeah.
Where he said that he's got the funds secured and he wants to buy it. What have you made of all of that? Because obviously, I think it's common knowledge that nobody wants the current owners here. Do you think it's just all just a PR stunt to boost his company, or do you think he is genuinely going to try and actively take over the club?
So initially, I know, like yourself, I was really skeptical. I was a bit like, oh, this just feels like jumping on the bandwagon. It's, it's just trying to get lots of publicity. And we'd seen that he was going to up his prices as well. The Spotify prices, we were like, oh, this is all just basically to try and get more income coming in. But I think when you've got the likes of Thierry Henry and Bergkamp on board, I think that kind of, I don't think they'd put their name to it if he wasn't serious about it. So it's a tough one. I can't see the Kroenkes selling personally. I can't see them, saying, yeah, whatever. But then everyone has their price, don't they? So, yeah.
and that's the thing. Like, they issued a statement the day before, or the night before, saying that we're not selling, we're not for sale, blah, blah, blah. Which to me, I looked at and was like, well, if it's not for sale, why have you told people it's not for sale? Because that's now an open invitation to be for sale at the right price. Because if they didn't want to sell it, they didn't need to put a statement out. That maybe I'm a different way. I don't know, but I do think that if it is genuine, which it does appear to be, it isn't going to be a quick overnight takeover, because
absolutely not.
We're talking billions of pounds here. It's mad.
Billions. So I think they want something around like 2 billion, right? So
yeah, that's the figure that's been quoted. Yeah.
Cool. That's nuts, isn't it? Imagine that.
Imagine having that much money to be able to go and buy a football club and still not be skinned.
I know. Me and you were like, get the monopoly out. We'll use this paper money and see what we can do.
But, let's move on to Mikel Arteta, because I want to get your thoughts on Arteta before we talk about the game tonight. Obviously, we're having one of the worst seasons in my lifetime, and we've gone further backwards in terms of league position than we did last season, albeit that he took over at Christmas-ish around that time. What have you made of him? Do you think he is getting improvements out of this team, or do you think that he's part of a bigger issue, or do you just think that he is the issue?
It is a tough one to answer. I think it's really difficult. He's been plonked, I think, in charge at quite a difficult time in the club's history. And obviously, we've now got all this talk and the Super League staff and the takeover staff. And I feel like he had to say what he said about the Kroenkes the other day, because at the end of the day, they are still his boss. So he had to say what he said the other day about supporting them. There's a thought process with me that around the Ozil incident thing. I think that Aubameyang really wanted Ozil to continue on playing. And Arteta, of course, had his issues with Ozil. And I think that caused some problems between Arteta and Aubameyang. This is just a thought process. Just your chatter about it, basically. And I think that lost Aubameyang a lot of respect with Arteta. And because Aubameyang has a lot of voice in the Arsenal team, it's kind of caused a bit of a knockdown effect, basically, on the rest of the team. And on Aubameyang and his performances as well. I think the young kids really look up to Arteta, and they really respect him as coach. And I like that. And I think they kind of have warmed to him, and because he's allowed them to have a chance to play, basically, and they've done brilliantly at it. So I like that a lot. I'd like him to have the opportunity with a bit of cash, to be honest, to have a really decent, solid season underneath him, and then we could judge him properly. But to say whether or not he is the sole issue, it's really difficult to say, because I think it comes from a lot of player respect to the manager, and I think some of that is missing at the moment.
Yeah, you made a point that I didn't even think about, actually, about Aubameyang. Because it would make total sense, seeing how he's played this season, from what you've just said, if I'm honest. wanted Ozil to stay, and he didn't, so now he's down tools, basically, after getting the big contract. But I don't know, it's a very weird one with Aubameyang. What would you do with him? Would you keep him in this summer, or would you sell him and try and get a bit of money?
I was a big fan of his when he first arrived. I was like, finally, we're going to get a decent name in this team, like decent skill, decent form. He came in, set Arsenal alight. It's like, yes, boom, this is what we need. And then it just like fell off a cliff. And it's that attitude that worries me, is that sometimes he looks really up for it and he's into it. And then other times he's a bit like, don't really care. And it's that bit that really worries me, because then that has a big impact on the rest of the team. So I think I probably would sell him now on recent form, unless Arteta really feels like he can kind of get him back on side and work with him again and really make him a part of the team moving forward, which at the moment, I have to admit, the way that Arteta is setting up his sides and bringing in the new kids and stuff like that doesn't feel like he's really trying to accommodate Aubameyang in that. So if that's the case, then I would say, what's the point? We may as well sell him on and try and get a bit of money out of him and try and find somebody who better suits us, really.
Who would you buy? Like, if we was to get rid of him,
Oh
who would
my God.
No, it's a tough one because
That's a tough one.
There's not many strikers of elite level that would probably want to come and play for a team that may not even be in Europe next season.
Yeah,
so it's a difficult one.
That is a difficult one. I'm not actually sure, to be honest with you. I think you're right. It is tough. I mean, there's some big names, but we would need the money for that. And I'm wondering if I might be a bit crazy here, but I'm wondering if we should be investing in somebody from the Premier League. Now, I think Liverpool have been linked with Ollie Watkins, but I think he'd work quite well at Arsenal. So it's not the big name that, that we all kind of would love to come in from outside and kind of what we had with Aubameyang. But he's just consistently ticking away and is somebody who could grow with the club, with some of those youngsters in the club, and hopefully become something quite special at the club.
And he's an Arsenal fan as well.
Is he? I did not know that. Awesome. Oh, we need to get on that. We need to get on that.
I think he's absolutely quality. Like, his movement, the way he runs the channels, the hold-up play. He doesn't score a stupid amount of goals, or he hasn't since he's been in the league this season. But it's his first season in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And I think he's had a fairly decent season for a team that are probably punching above their weight, Aston Villa, because they nearly got relegated last season, stayed up right at the death. So I like Ollie Watkins. I don't think it cost that much money. I know they spent, I think it was 32 million on him. If we could go and get him for around 45, I think that'd be a good bit of business because he's still young as well. Yeah,
absolutely. Or like even Bamford, maybe, from Leeds. So
somebody in the chat said Ivan Toney. I like Ivan Toney. What do you think of him? He's smashing it this season.
He is smashing it this season. Yeah, he's a good shout as well. Whoever put that in the chat, definitely.
Make sure everybody's smashing the likes up. There's 500 people watching right now. Big up to all the people in the chat. Big up to Rants as well. He sent a lot of you guys over from his channel. So big up to Rants and Bants. Make sure as well you check out Nim's channel. The link is in the title. It's a blue hyperlink. Click on it. It doesn't leave the stream and it takes you straight to her channel. And make sure you go and show some love there. Let me just grab this real quick before it goes. Big up to my guy. I'm not going to try and butcher your name, my friend. Aubameyang would be difficult to sell. Bad form, high wages, 3-year contract. He would be very expensive for a 31-plus-year-old. I think he is 32 this summer, actually. It's a very good point. And this is the problem we've got with Aubameyang. Thank you for that, my friend. That's the problem we've got, is that we've put him on such a high wage deal. And at that age, it's a massive risk for anybody now to come in and buy him for what would probably be, well, he'd have 2 years left coming into this summer. So it's going to be around 45. That's a lot of money for a 32-year-old that's coming off the back of a poor season. Let's move on to the game tonight. Obviously, it is the biggest game of our season. We've left it all to the Europa League or nothing. And oh dear, it was just the stars, wasn't it? That Unai Emery was going to be the guy that could even knock us out.
Mr. Europa League himself.
Or we get to the final by beating an ex-manager, and then that decision to sack him looks more justified. So, what did you think when the draw happened? Obviously, we had to beat Slavia Prague, sorry, which we made look hard work in the first leg. Second leg was fantastic, but. What did you make of it? Did you just think it was just going to happen? We were going to get Emery, and like, what are your thoughts on the game? Do you think we can get through over the 2 legs, or do you think we're going to struggle?
I think you're right. Like when it was drawn, it just kind of felt like it was meant to be, didn't it? Really, like it was going to happen. And I got a bit nervous, I have to say, when I seen it, because I know that he did well with us in the competition, and he's great in the Europa League. Just seems to get it. It just seems to be his kind of competition. We have never lost against Villarreal in any competition, and we've won twice and drawn twice in all competitions. The last time we beat them, though, was in 2009. So in the Champions League, 3-0.
Yeah.
But obviously, we had a much better team back then. Fabianski in goal, Fabregas, Nazari, Van Persie in attack. So much
That
better
team was
team.
mad, really. When you look back at them,
Yeah.
them teams, even though we didn't win the title of any of them,
Yeah.
the football was mad, and the players
Mad.
we had back then were just like so much better than what we've got now.
Yes, absolutely. Like, I think it was just a case of other teams being better in that season, really, rather than us being bad. So, yeah. And then you don't mind losing so much, do you? Because you're like, well, we played the best we could, you know. So,
Yeah.
I'd like to think we have a chance at it. I would say with the underdogs.
You think so? Yeah.
A little bit, I do. Yeah, because I don't know. I just feel like, oh, maybe it's just the Everton result on the weekend that's clouded my judgment. That Leno own goal. Oh my God. Seriously. Don't even get me started on Leno. Not a fan at all. But yeah, I think I'd like to think we could. I'd like to think we just say, you know what, we've got nothing to lose now. This is our shot. We got to go for it. We've got nothing else left, and hopefully over the 2 legs we'd be able to nick a little something. That's the hope, anyway.
So that's the thing. It is Unai Emery's competition, really. Like, he's never lost a knockout game over 2 legs in this competition ever. Like, he won it 3 times in a row with Sevilla. Then from there he went PSG, so they never played in it. Then with us, he got us straight to the final, and now with this lot in his first season, he's got him straight to the semis. So it's like, he knows what he's doing. When I've looked at his team's not that great. He's got Francis Coquelin. He used to play for us. He's in his team.
He did. Yeah.
Wow. He's got. Do you remember? Who's the guy at left back? Oh, his name's gone. He used to play for Liverpool. The chat room will know. They'll remind me. Juan Foyth from Tottenham. He plays for them.
Yeah.
And then they've got Etienne Capoue. He's in midfield. So they've got quite a few ex-Premier League players. Raul Albiol as well. He's at centre-back. And, yeah, one of their strikers, I think, is 36. Then they've got another one. Alberto Moreno. That's who I was thinking of, the left-back.
Oh, Moreno. Okay.
Yeah, he's their left-back. And then they've got a guy, I can't remember his name, but he's bagged 26 goals this season. He's their biggest threat. And then they've got a young lad who's in their team on right wing, which is why I'm kind of worried that if we play Granit Xhaka left back, this kid, his name's Chukwueze, is a young Nigerian footballer, yeah?
Okay.
Absolutely fantastic young player. And I'm scared that if Tierney's not in that team and we go with Xhaka at left back, that could be curtains tonight. Could be big time. So I am looking forward to it. But the thing, like, I look at it and I just think when Arsenal need to turn up in big games, notoriously over the years, even when we've been poor, we tend to find something little extra. Like when we played Chelsea in the final, Man City in the semi, and then go back to 2017 when we've done exactly the same, when we were struggling all season. It's like we do tend to find something and get a second wave. But I'm not so sure with this one, if I'm honest. I just look at it and I think he plays 4-4-2, which nobody plays anymore. And he very nearly he outplayed Barcelona at the weekend for large parts of that game. They lost 2-1 with 10 men, but he outplayed them for a lot of the game, took the lead, and then obviously lost. But I'm worried that when Arteta said in his press conference that all of our players are back and they're in contention, that worried me a bit, because that means he might throw Tierney in at left back when he's not played for. He might throw David Luiz in when he ain't played for his.
Bring him back too soon.
Yeah, that could come back to bite us. And not only that, if he does take Granit Xhaka out of left back and put him in midfield, Dani Ceballos plays so much more worse with him in midfield than he does without him in midfield. So he's got a lot of
just get rid of Xhaka, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just get him on the transfer list. But that's the thing. Like, obviously, we have had a poor season. There has been some good players in our team this season. Bukayo Saka has been superb. Pepe at times has been brilliant. And Lacazette, that's another one I'm worried about as well, because I think Balogun's gone. And what did you make of Balogun signing the new contract? Did you think he would?
I wasn't sure that he would, actually, given the noise that came from the camp. But I'm actually happy he did. You know, I'm excited to see what he can produce in the future. So, yeah, but the faff around it was a bit kind of, really? Didn't need it.
Yeah, exactly. They left it right to the last second. When they announced it, they said that they'd got into a situation that they had to get out of. I think he maybe signed a contract with someone else or a pre-contract. That's why it took so long, because he could talk to team, because he was out of contract this summer, weren't he? So he could talk to anyone abroad. And I think he probably signed a pre-contract somewhere, and that's why Arsenal got him out of it. But, but
he scored twice in the Europa League this season, didn't he? Yeah. So, you know, decent talent to look forward to.
Who did he score against? Mulder and Dundalk, I think it was.
I think so. Yeah, I think it was Dundalk.
Would you start him if Lacazette and Aubameyang are not quite ready, or would you go with Eddie up front?
Eddie's has a bit more experience, I guess, but I guess if we were in the earlier stages, it didn't matter so much, then I'd take the risk. I don't think there'll be a question. I think that Arteta will rush back one of Aubameyang or Lacazette and start them anyway. I don't think he'll be putting Nketiah or Martinelli up top. I don't think so.
I don't think Martinelli's he's not going to make it either.
I'd love Martinelli to start. Such a good player, made of glass, mind you, but such a good player. So yeah, but I'm a big fan of his. I like his style a lot. So it's a bit of a shame, really, that he's had as many injuries as he's had this season, because given the fact that there's been those opportunities for the younger kids coming through, and a massive fan of Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe, I really would have liked to see Martinelli get that chance to kind of push on, but the injuries have just kind of scuppered any chance he's had really to do that, hasn't it? So
yeah, that's the problem.
I feel a bit sorry for him.
He never seems to get a run. Like, he seems to either get injured or get dropped when he scores. It just don't make any sense to me. It's like, you know, surely you want all of your players like on like top form, so you keep playing them until they play themselves out of form. But for us,
all I can think is that he's got niggling injuries in the background that come up in training and stuff, and Arteta's trying to protect him. That's all I can think, because if he's choosing to do it based on form, it makes no sense whatsoever. So all I can think is it's coming from a protective point of view. I'd like to think that's what it is, but still, we need to be looking into why. I mean, when I saw our injury sheet, like last week, a week ago, I was like, what is going on at Arsenal? Like, do we need to have a look at why we're getting so many injuries again? Like, it just feels like every time we seem to be getting somewhere, we get a load of injuries. So that's hopefully
been an ongoing theme as well for us, isn't it? It's like,
this season it's been nuts. Like, it doesn't feel like we've had a fully fit team at all throughout this season.
Yeah, every time we start doing all right, we lose 2 or 3, and then the next 2 or 3 come in, we go on a losing streak. Then when we get back again, they get injured, and then the other ones come back. It's just like, it's been a mad season all over, really. But like, hopefully we can go out there and get a couple of goals, because I feel like with our home form, I think we've lost 9 games in all competitions at home this season. Yeah, wow. I think that's a record that goes back to the 30s. 9 losses in all competitions. So I'm not really confident that we can do them at our ground. I think if we're going to have the chance to get through, we need to bag a couple of goals tonight. Try and keep a clean sheet, and then when we play them at the Emirates, park the bus and hit them on the break. Because
clean sheet, you say? What's one of those? That's been a while. It feels like it.
I think we've had 1 or 2 clean sheets in the last 20 games or something stupid.
It's crazy. Yeah, like whenever anyone talks about our defense in terms of fantasy football, I'm just like, stay away. Just don't come near us. Stay away.
Have you actually got any Arsenal defenders in your fantasy team?
No way. I mean, I would have had Tierney, would he have been fit, more for his attacking threat rather than his clean sheet threat, to be honest, for the assists. But and because he's fairly cheap compared to somebody like Trent. But no, otherwise I would just stay away because I just don't trust in Leno. Well, I don't trust in many of our defenders, to be honest, but Leno is one that worries me a fair bit. So
because a lot of people, I don't particularly like Leno. I don't think he's anywhere near the level good enough to play for this football club. And I think the fact that we got rid of a goalkeeper, which I did think was good enough.
Thank you. Yes. I know. Like the whole Emi Martinez thing, just like, I know we should be able to talk about Leno in his own right without bringing up Martinez, but like, I can't get over how we did so well in the cup with the team that we had, and then we went and sold players and changed players, and I'm just thinking, I'm a massive fan of Martinez. He's in my fancy team, has been in my fantasy team most of this season, getting me monster points. Even when Villa concede, he's still getting me monster points because he's making terrific saves. So last couple of weeks he's dropped off a little bit, but yeah, massive fan, and I miss him a lot. I was just a big fan of him generally anyway as a goalkeeper, regardless of him being an Arsenal goalkeeper. So I'm still a big fan, even though he's moved on to Aston Villa. But I feel like he worked hard enough. He deserved the chance to be first team goalkeeper in Arsenal at the start of the season. Personally, I know why we did it. We got the money out of him, his age, that sort of thing. I get it. I understand it. But I just feel like it would have been nice for him to have had the opportunity, especially after doing so well in all the cups and preseason stuff. So.
This summer, would you try and buy him back? Because I went on a channel yesterday and they were asking me for my transfer targets and my starting 11 for next season.
Okay.
And I'd buy him back, 100%.
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, I don't even know if that's a thing, but I would love to. Whether he would want to come back, mind you, is another thing. Like, are you actually going to play me this time, or am I just going to go back to sitting on the bench? I think we need a new goalkeeper, regardless, and I think that is one of the positions we do need to look at, because having that solid base at the back in goalkeeper, where you just feel confident that if it's going to get through the cracks of the defense and you've got a goalkeeper there that can stand solid and take this, then it just makes everyone in front of them so much more confident, and we don't have that at the moment.
And that's the thing. Sorry, bear with me 1 second.
No worries, buddy.
Big up to Rants in the chat. I have to double check it because you lot make fake accounts, so it is the real Rant. Big up to Rants. Big up my guy, man. Come on, real one. Thanks for sending everyone over to the channel as well, mate. Appreciate that. And I'll mod you up as we speak. But listen, keep smashing the likes up, and make sure you go and subscribe to Nim's channel. The link for that is in the title of this video. So make sure you go and check her channel out. She does everything related to Fantasy Premier League. She'll give you all tips and little ideas and stuff for upcoming games. And maybe you lot can climb up the leaderboards and win some money at the end of it. Who knows? But give me a score prediction for tonight.
Ooh,
and then give me a prediction over the 2 legs for the, like, just I'd say win tonight, draw tonight, lose tonight, but we'll qualify, lose, or whatever. So score tonight, and then whether we qualify or not.
So we're away tonight, are we? Or we're home tonight? We're away tonight. Away. Okay. So yeah, fancy us to do better away, as we were saying earlier, based on the stats. It's been a little while since Villarreal scored more than 2 goals. So if we're going to win it, we need to get at least 2. So let's say we take it tonight. I'm going to say we take it tonight. Let's go 2-1 to us. And then, go on, you go.
I was going to say 2-1 as well.
Okay.
But I was going to say 2-1 to them.
That's really strange for me to be optimistic, actually. But yeah, I think we lose it at home, which would be devastating. But I think that's where we'll lose it. And yeah, I think let's say 3-1 to them.
At our ground,
the second leg, yeah.
Could you imagine it? Wouldn't it just be like, I mean, he must be so hyped up for this game. I watched his press conference, Emery, yesterday, and they translated it because my Spanish is not great, even though I live in Spain. Like, I can't understand hardly any of it. But
I bet you understand more than I do, so that's a step up at least.
Well, I was listening to it, and he was saying that no, he hasn't got any bad feelings against the club. He even offered to let Arteta stay in his house in London when he got sacked, and he had a conversation with him on the phone and stuff like that. So nice. I thought that was really nice of him. I look back at it now and I think that we probably, as a fan base, like, didn't treat him with the utmost respect. Really, he's a very good manager, and
was just results driven, wasn't it? I don't think it was anything necessarily personal towards him. We just literally were in that situation where it was like, we're not getting what we need right now. And he just wasn't given the time to see whether or not he could, you know, push it further.
It would have been interesting to see, had he have got another couple of months, whether he'd have turned it around, because I think we sacked him in, I think it was November.
Yeah,
I think it was November, then Freddie took over, then Arteta came in December. So, but yeah, who do you think is going to win it overall, the tournament? Don't say
overall.
Could you imagine if Unai Emery actually won it?
Yeah, I was going to say, well, if they beat us, then hopefully they go on to win it. If they're going to take us out of the competition, then hopefully they go on to win it. But yeah, that's a tough one. I'd like it to be us. I don't think it will be, but I would like it to be us. Otherwise, hopefully Villarreal, if they're going to take us out, then hopefully they go on to win it. So.
Yeah, I can't have United winning it. Real talk. I can't have them not winning it. It'd be Ollie's first trophy as well. We'd never really end of it.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
But listen, thanks very much for coming on. I appreciate you giving up half hour of your day as well. Make sure you smash the likes up. You're welcome. Make sure you smash the likes up, and make sure you go and follow Nim's channel. The link is in the title. Stick a subscription there. And I'll be back again with Tom for the build-up to tonight's game at 6:45. So hour and 15 before kickoff, we'll get the starting 11. We'll probably all be ripping our hair out that Willian and all of these ones are in the squad and in the team. Like Eddie will be up front leading the line.
Oh no! Imagine.
But, have you got any shows lined up today, or are you chilling today?
No, I'm done for today. I got to go have my COVID vaccine today. So yeah, all done.
Nice one. Big up to everybody who's watched live as well. And I'll be back at 6:45. I'm out of here. Laters.